Dan Larson here, and I'm at the photo booth with some recent toy show pickups. Up front, we've got Boba Fett. You recognize him, vintage Star Wars Boba Fett. This is number 254. When I get to a toy show, first thing I do, quick lap, find all the Fetts. This was a tiny little toy show, maybe like 12, 15 vendors tops, and most of them were selling comics. Honestly, I would say like 90% of them. I don't know what that comes down to, but 90% of them were selling comic books. I wasn't really there for comics. This was the only Fett in the building. I got it. Good price, nice seller. You'll hear more about that guy in a moment. Next up, I make the whole quick round of the show, and one of the last people that I checked out had this. This is Unimax Toys, who I've never really heard of. It also says on here Osprey Publishing, 1/18 scale museum quality detail. I'm gonna assume I had never heard of these before the show. Before I saw these at this guy's table, I'm going to assume these were for educational toy stores, museums, those sorts of places. The date on here is 2008, I believe. We'll just say it's 2008. It was either 2008 or 2006. I think it was 2008 because I was struck by how recent that was and the fact that I had never heard of these guys before. So this guy had one super cheap. In fact, he had 3 of these. All of them were super cheap. I grabbed the one, you know why. And upon opening it and checking it out, let me bust this guy out real quick here. Upon opening it and checking it out, I will admit I was a little disappointed that I didn't get all 3 of them. Because it's an army builder type of figure. It comes with this really awesomely, just totally pixelated, I don't know if you can see it in there, but it is pixelated background image. This little manual that talks about the other figures in the series, which was the #1 reason that I really wanted to find the rest of these figures. You got a Knight Templar, this is the Roman Legionary, there's a Norman Knight, and then a ninja and a samurai. The ninja, as shown on the back here, hopefully you can see this, hopefully it's in focus, he's using his wicker, I don't know what material that is, bamboo. He's using his hat as a shield here, so props to the toy photographer there who didn't really have it in context. But I need this samurai and I need this ninja. I can do without the Knight Templar and the Norman Knight. If anybody knows anybody, if you have the Knight or the samurai, give me a heads up. Let me know. I need to get those 2 guys. I hopped on eBay, I hopped on Amazon, Facebook, everywhere I could find. Nobody had those things for sale, so hopefully it will turn up soon. But hey, this is a 3 3/4 inch scale, as you can see next to Boba Fett here. And the detail on it is actually really incredibly nice, on par with just about anything that's being produced today. He's not the most articulated guy. He's barely in frame now. I've got him up a little bit. The shield also, tons of detail on that. Really nicely done. Very cool figure for what I paid for it. Disappointed that I didn't get the others. Hopefully, 2 other collectors did. He comes with a bunch of little stuff here too, and he's got a stand. But very cool guy. Ages of Action, Unimax Toys. Hopefully I'll be able to find some more of those. Came back around, second laugh. Same guy that I bought the Boba Fett from had Gandalf the Grey here. Mrs. Toy Galaxy is a big Lord of the Rings fan. She currently only had Gandalf in white, so I got the gray one here. He has a battery-operated function. Well, this raises his arm, but this stone, his hat doesn't stay on very well. This stone is supposed to light up for when he's in the mound there. It's all bent up. To see if I can straighten that out. But nice Gandalf the Grey figure. His hat doesn't stay on. And then also, same dealer at the show had some bins out in front with some cheaper figures. I'm always looking for larger figures like this, both, well, mainly because they display well, and then also because they display well specifically in the background of a YouTube toy show, if you happen to have one of those. So you'll see these guys in the background there. Bright, colorful, big. They're going to take up some vertical space. Spider-Man's pretty cool, pretty well articulated. The only thing he seems to be missing here is a decent pivot outward. He doesn't have any kind of outward shoulder pivot. But he's got just about everything else. Double-jointed knees, double-jointed elbows. He's got the finger articulation here. This one doesn't do much, but it's really just good for web slinging. This one has a little bit more of a hand action. But my only real complaint with this is, man, are his legs long? I don't know if that really shows up on screen there, but his legs are really long. Nice looking figure, though, and I appreciate the large-ish eyes, but not so comically large. For my preferences, they tend to get a little out of control these days, where it takes up almost the entire half of his head, which I don't care for. And then over here you've got Ben 10, 12-inch figures. No real articulation. I mean, they have some articulation on them, but that's really just the way the pieces were manufactured. They're really not... You really can't put them in any other poses than the poses that they're actually in right now, especially because they'll go out of balance. But you got Heat Blast and Forearms. I'll be honest, I really haven't seen much of Ben 10 before. It seems like it's the kind of show that would be right up my alley, so we'll definitely have to do a video on those guys sometime in the near future. So I'm going to have to start watching so I know what I'm talking about. And then lastly, again, all of this stuff except for the Roman Legionary came from the same guy. And lastly, we have a Bandai reissue of the 1982, this is a 2002 reissue of 1982 Robotech Valkyrie, specifically the Roy Fokker. Look, I'm not a big Robotech fan. I'm familiar with it to the degree that most toy fans are in terms of the design and the basic character names and stuff, but I never watched the show, and I don't know if there's any other specific things that I should tell you about this, other than it's really, really cool, and the skull and crossbones is super cool. I gotta grab the, he's got the little cockpit cover here for his chest. You can pop out the regular cockpit, and snap in the skull and crossbones. This slides down, arms pop out. Head pushes through. And I was particularly excited to get this. The seller had a pretty high price on it. Not as high as they're going for on eBay, that's for sure. But he was definitely lower than eBay. And when I asked about it, he was very despondent. He was like, well, you know, the price is lower because the previous owner, which he insisted was not himself, the previous owner went and filled in all the seam lines with, you know, ink, probably one of those Gundam pens, and I personally didn't care about that. I actually think it looks better that way, and I'm always looking for a discount. So I made him an offer that was less than what he was asking for, which was less than the going rate, and since there weren't very many toy buyers that day, and it seemed like the entire audience was comic book fans, he took my offer, so I was really excited to get that. I have an old beat up, you know what, let me grab it. I lived in Japan from 1980 to 83, somewhere around there. And I managed to get a regular Batroid, I think that's what they're called, Valkyrie, and it's been with me ever since. It is pretty old. So this is actually a 1982 original mold here. If I can get him together. There we go. And he's seen some combat. He's had some rough times. Excuse me, guys. There we go. So yeah, on the left is my original 1982. He's got a crack here in his cockpit. Obviously, I've had to replace his left arm with a Jetfire arm, which I was really excited that was such an easy switch out. Oh, here we go. There it is. Because he needs the other arm. He's missing a tail back here too. You can see that. Anyway, excited to get this. The coolest design, Roy Fokker's jet. And just to have a piece that's in at least in like new condition again. Anyway, thanks for watching. Give this video a like, hit subscribe so you don't miss out on future haul videos, acquisition videos, what have you, as well as all the other content on our channel. Give the video a like, hit subscribe, and thanks for watching. Later.